everyone, Karen Warden with Film Courage the Radio Show, and I'm here with the wonderful Debra Eckerling of WriteOnOnline.com, and also the radio show on Blog Talk Radio, Blog Talk Radio / WriteOn Online.
Okay.
Because my monthly meetings that I think I talked about so in depth the last time we chatted, they're now online, so if you don't have to be in LA to attend, you can just call in. And I've started having guests on. I had Mark Coker, who founded Smashwords, last week for the March meeting, back in February. Ann Lauer, who's a script consultant who does the Princess Scribe blog. She was my guest, so it gives me a little bit more freedom, but it also allows me to involve the people who aren't fortunate enough to live in Los Angeles, give them a little extra push in the right direction to get their work done.
Well, let's go back to WriteOn Online. When did you begin it, and how did you grow it?
Well, the live group started 9 years ago. It just went all virtual last September is when I moved the meetings to Blog Talk Radio. And the website has been up for about 3.5 years. And it's been fun for me because originally I started out as, okay, I need a place to put the newsletter. So here's a blog, and then a friend of mine had a book come out. Wonderful, I'll start doing author interviews, and I enjoyed that so much. I started doing author interviews every Tuesday and did an outreach to some of my writing friends, and I got some more books back, and then I said, why not, open it up more? And I put a query out to helpareporter.com, and I got almost 400 responses of authors. Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah.
That it was, well, I like it because I like to do a mix of known and up-and-coming authors, and I also do nonfiction, fiction, screenwriters, bloggers, journalists, because I think it's important for all writers to learn about all kinds of writing. It's the whole, my coaching site, my personal training for writers site is Right on Track LA, and it's the entire philosophy of writing as exercise, and I believe you get the best exercise when you're doing different kinds of workouts, so writing in different areas. So that's a big reason why I like to showcase the different kinds of writers. So, back to answering your question. So I bumped it up to interviews twice a week. Then I brought in rotating expert columns on Thursdays. And then last year I added a WriteOn reviews. So now we have Mondays is WriteOn reviews, Tuesdays are the author Q&As, Wednesday is WriteOn Wednesday, which is just up-and-coming events like what we did today. So I don't have to wait for the monthly newsletter to tell the word of the cool things that are going on. And then Thursday's the rotating expert column, and Friday I'm switching off between video interviews and random writing prompts because I just like to mix it up a little bit. But it was not a fast process. I literally did just 2 days a week for a couple years, and then I saw opportunities and I grew the site, and once I was doing 4 days, I said may as well do 5. So I jumped from 3 to 4 to daily Monday through Friday pretty quickly, but it's fun. It's just all in the name of helping writers get their words out, as it were.
And so you do all the website maintenance yourself? You upload all the content?
I do. I do. I do have, as I mentioned, I've got rotating guest columns. So Jeannie Bowerman, who was your big December guest, she does the writing resources reviews. And I've got Maria Fotopoulos doing film reviews, and Phil Primati, and he does the TV reviews. And Philip is in Georgia, and Jeannie's in New York, and Maria's in Los Angeles. So it's also different parts of the country. It's great. I love internet. You don't have to be here to get the word out about what you're doing, and I like encouraging people at different stages.
So what would you say to someone that wants to start a website of some type? It doesn't have to be necessarily for writers or filmmakers, but what would you say to that person as far as the type of time they're going to have to commit, and how they put out queries to possible writers?
Wow, that's like one of my favorite questions, because it's one of the things that I teach is marketing through blogging and social networking. The first thing I say is don't overwhelm yourself. And I said this several times in the last week when I was in Austin, it's the biggest problem people have, rather the biggest mistake people have, is they get so overwhelmed by the prospect of doing a website or a blog, they just don't do it. So the real secret is you want to commit to 1 day a week. I like Tuesdays. I think there's also research that shows that that's the best day of the week to post. And then I don't want to... You can start with blog posts of 300 to 500 words. I know people who write a lot more than that, and I think that's great if they can do it, but if you're short on time and you're just starting out, don't overwhelm yourself. Do every Tuesday a 300 to 500 word blog post, and write, when you're writing for online, it should be, nice and snappy and bullet points and bold and just engaging online content. I can talk about this for way too long. And the other thing you can do is you could brainstorm ideas. Just because you're blogging once a week doesn't mean once a week you sit down and write your blog post. Go out, take pictures, gather content, figure out what you think you want to post about, brainstorm. These are all sorts of tips you can do when you're developing your content. And then you got 1 day a week down, it's going great, then pick up another one and then just slowly grow your site without it being too much of an infringement on your life. It's work, but I do it because I love it. I guess that's the other key, is if there is something that you enjoy that you want to spread the word about, then that's what you should be writing about. Write about what you're passionate about, and then it's not work. And that's something else I say all the time. Writing is supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun, maybe you shouldn't be writing. Because that's it. We do it for the joy, right?
Exactly. And one last question I have is emails, which may not be so joyful, but how much time do you spend on emails? Because I know for us, we can get overloaded with emails and really spend the whole day on them. Do you set parameters, like only from this time am I going to check email, or is it as they come in? Are you sort of an OCD like me who checks it all the time and wants to keep getting back to people right away?
I would love to say I've got the best system ever for emails, but it's sort of like spending time on emails for me is like spending time on social networking. You have to do it, you have to commit the time, and what I'll do for my email purposes is I'll wake up, I'll go through my emails. I'm on a lot of email lists, so those I'll mostly read the subject lines and then mark as read, or save them if I think I actually need to read it. Then I see what I have to deal with for the day, and then I'll go about my day, whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing. And like I said, I'd like to say I turn off my email and I don't check it, but I don't want to be untruthful. It's really just it's a 4-hour work week thing, and I looked at it a while ago, so I can't give you the exact, but there are a lot of people who say don't check email in the morning, and I believe the lesson from 4-hour work week is you just do a set amount of time and you tell the people who need to hear from you, this is when I check my email, and then you only check your email at those times. And that way you're not going back and forth and disengaging from what you're working on. The way I work it with social networking, which I'm a little bit more I'm a little better at, is I'll get up, I'll do my post, I'll tweet, I'll put it on Facebook, my post to WriteOn online for the day, I'll see what I need to go with, and then I get something done. And then after I've accomplished something, I'll go and I'll spend another 15 minutes doing my email or my social networking. And I recommend a timer, because timers, if you're a writer and you have one tool, get yourself a timer, because you can time when you only have a short amount of time to write, but you can also time the time you take when you're doing your social networking, so you don't get so off track. And it's the last time you looked at the clock, it was morning, and then it's 3 o'clock, and ooh, why am I hungry? Oh yeah, 6 hours have passed since I got sucked into the social networking vortex. But social networking is important. You have to be online. You have to make your presence known. You have to have conversations. And really the best way to do that is to give yourself increments of time where you do it when it's not taking so much from the other things that you have to do during the day.